The Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead here and everywhere else in the world. They never could heal anything. It was me and God, most of it. Give me a second here, trying to adjust my wires. All right, I think I got it there. I was tugging on my head when I was turning my head with the microphone. The wire was caught somewhere. Sounds like a cue. So I can't tell you not to cooperate with law enforcement as a church, but I can tell you there are ethical requirements for churches not to go over a certain line with law enforcement cooperation. Because what you're doing then is you're handing the keys to your church to Caesar. Now, well, the whole time I've been in this church, I only did it 5 times. The church over there did it 5 times. The church over there did it 5 times. And they did it thousands of times because when the person leaves your church, because it's such an ignorant piece of doo-doo, they'll do it to them out there in the street, trying to get them to go to the bar, the massage parlor, or down here by the bar on the corner, that type of thing. So again, the thing is, if I was running the program, we'd be saving people from crime. That's how it would work. They would end up not committing crime, and they would have a great life because we'd be healing them. And I wouldn't allow you. I would tell you to reach out to that person because what they're doing, this person's so dangerous. See the face on these people. I know when they're lying because I can see the face on the people. And they'll try to say, well, it's you, what you do. No, they lie to them like I'm the most dangerous person on earth. And you see people's face go, ah! Meanwhile, the most dangerous people on earth live in the life of Riley, hiring hits all day long through fake investigators, federal, state, local, and private. Many of them running for president. I healed somebody, and now I'm doing a reading in this area over here. So that's why I stop sometimes. Something's weird on the highway. I can't figure it out. What's that, 69 or something? No, this one's, what is this one? 69 is the next one over, I think. Oh, no, that is 69, not 69, that is 69. There's like 2 highways that parallel, right? I have to look on the map again and get my bearing. That's why I hate using GPS. It just makes you stupid. So yeah, there is sex trafficking around here, but they won't bust them until somebody that the criminal enterprise wants to harass goes in there. Now, I'm not telling you they go the full length here. In some communities, you'll watch and you'll see, like when you look at the news, most people don't, oh, irresponsible law enforcement. Well, wait a second. That person got this stupid misdemeanor for sex trafficking and then opened up another place. It's what I said it was. They wanted to bust somebody. They busted her because somebody was in there. There was a John that was targeted by some criminal enterprise somewhere, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's Silicon's Valley, whether it's the Glee Club or the church or whatever it is. So they leave the massage parlors open. Look, they're telling people like to walk away when I speak. No, I'm not being shunned. You're moving criminal enterprise to do what looks like shunning. And they're all alcoholics and drug addicts and things like that. Not that I'm against those type of people, but if they become, again, that would be a trick from Satan. Say, oh, see, he doesn't care about the alcoholics and drug addicts. Well, you're paying alcoholics and drug addicts to do this, and they're spending the money on alcohol and narcotics, and it's been like that for decades. Although in Naples, a little bit less. But still, still corruption, organized crime. So what they do is the massage parlor will operate until such a time when one of their victims enters in, because that's what the whole goal is. Although there were several goals. Again, when I say that's the goal, it doesn't mean, well, didn't he say that was the goal? Well, there's 3 or 4 goals. Spycraft is such a thing. So physical degradation of health was one goal. The other goal was to try to push me into a real massage parlor, like a sex massage parlor. Now, that may have been it. I don't know. It definitely happened after I noticed a sexual trafficking massage parlor in Santa Fe. And there's no Q clue there. It's what I said it is. It's organized crime and racketeering. And they already had a hit on me at that point. So when they put them out, when they put me, I guess they canceled my membership. So there's not that many choices. I go to the boutique tanning place, and they try to set me up there next. Now, the security people said, no, there's no way that this guy's doing this, because they already knew me. And now, they say, that's what's going on over here. They don't want them to know me so they can believe the bullshit. They call me a con man. But see, everything they say at me is usually what they are. And I say usually because there's probably maybe a cop or two out there that isn't. But again, if you're telling people that I'm that dangerous, then you're a con person, all of you. No, it isn't just a joke. So again, they learn from their mistakes, and then they, further isolate. I had a girlfriend, and she was falling in love with me. And I would say within a year, we probably would have been married. It just would have went that way. It's just the way God structures these things. So the government enters in with criminal enterprise. The same people that killed Jonathan Luna, whether it was murder or suicide, it was murder. And they get control of her. And I mean, I've never seen her, she was just totally, because she's depressed and she's a whack. And no, you all entered in. And, she even told me she's going to go hang out with a guy. I mean, who tells their ex that? Because they made her do it. And when we went to that veterinary appointment, I knew that was going to be it. Because when we went to, I took time off from an FBI case, and I went to help her bring her 2 bunny rabbits and dog, I think it is, into the vet. She just, she was whacked a little bit, and it wasn't her. I know what it was. The fire engine came around. She totally freaked out with the siren. And this is what they were doing around 9/11 to, they would say investigate people, but they're using it for extreme rendition. It was a form of extreme rendition. And what the extreme rendition desired was for people to be criminals and terrorists and sex traffickers. So if I were to go and look at gay porn or something like that, the fire engine and the police cars chasing me around and cursing me, and me being drugged would decrease. See? I've tested you around here. I probably used it too many times, and they probably won't. Probably can't manipulate them with it. But see, they do that like at a certain point, they'll continue the operation to counter it, to say, well, see, then it's not that, you were mistaken. You know, that kind of thing's going on right now. I mean, it would piss you off if you were me and they go, you know, oh, it's not worth it. What's not worth it? Sending you to hell's worth everything. I get points in the system for speaking. That just shows you how far I'd actually be down if I didn't speak. So again, like I told you with Bill Clinton, I didn't pull any punches. I did my job. Well, they did a job on me and my life and my family. And any would-be friend. Now, it goes back decades. So again, I don't agree with where the trans people went with that. I think it's over. But I don't necessarily blame most of them because it's coming from spells and psychological operation. I can tell by the way some of them are reacting. There's a lot less natural psychological disturbance and illness in the world than they would lead you to believe. A lot less, a major amount. That was one of the questions I had early on was why are people being medicated so much? What is this? That's one of their goals is to medicate me. Pharmakia. So I'd be more compliant to becoming a trans woman for them. That's what they want. They're sick. They've done it before and they want to do it again. Now, the trans woman is innocent because they're causing it. They've created that vibration in the world. So even absence the spycraft criminals in government and the private sector, there is a witchcraft that causes that. So the victim is not guilty. It attacks a lot of different communities in a lot of different ways. Jesus even said, if you do not see, your sins will not be held against you. So what happens is the gay community is witnessed well spiritually as far as my life. Not the whole entire gay. Obviously, I was molested and all of that. However, when we get to spiritual gifts and use of spiritual gifts and faith and encouragement, they start getting rated up. So then it starts to shift. But yet, you have to understand, regardless of what we're doing on the planet physically of a spiritual nature, or realizing of a spiritual nature, the truth is there. So if we go back all those years and there's no spirituality, maybe in their community, no Christianity, no whatever it is of a spiritual nature, they're still covered under Ezekiel 34 and spiritual blindness, if they are covered by it, and a majority probably are. So again, we go back to Jesus and what he says to the Sadducees, Pharisees, the Sanhedrin. He says, you're pushing people out. You're not letting people in. And you're not entering yourself, actually. I mean, they would say, look, we entered in. Look at this. Look at what we built. Look at this church in Oklahoma City. It's huge. You're devils, man. And you all know it to a certain degree. So again, when we get into the partner program and we get into altering somebody's religious experience, what I would tell you, if I were the man running that program, I would tell Walmart, act natural, be real nice to the person. But why is that not happening? Because law enforcement and Walmart security abused that program and tried to sexualize me. They may have successfully done it in certain ways, and I just can't see it. But I never had a sexual relationship with anybody. I never tried to have a sexual relationship with anybody. But women tried to, Jezebel, Delilah, Babylon, the whore of Babylon. That all happened. And that, I mean that in a physical nature also. How you doing? So that did occur. So again, they're trying to block all of that. Because the fact is, my program of survival, my program for Christ is for people to know who I am in reality, how I treat other people, how well I am. They go, well, he's a con. He's like, and they've used this before. He's like Ted Bundy. I mean, me, of all people, I'm a Ted Bundy. I mean, they're nuts. But why are they nuts? Because they are satanic, they are evil, and they are the most heinous criminals upon the planet. And in fact, have taken over the planet and will be destroyed in hell. There's no way out for them. What they're doing is they reverse the church. And now the church points at who the Sanhedrin was pointing at. Now, again, what they'll do is, well, he hates Israel and Jews. Well, during that time period, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Shimon, or Rabbi Shimon, whichever way you prefer to say it, because I have to say it as God tells me to say it. Otherwise, I get owned. And other such rabbis had the same issue. They were lackeys from Rome. Herod was a lackey from Rome. So when we get into politics, all of a sudden, Representative Ilhan Omar says something, and you all go, oh, yeah, look. Well, wait a minute. Now you're condemning Akiva, Shimon, and his son. Because now you're not agreeing that there was an issue with the corrupt leadership in Israel that caused that need or helped with it. Again, it occurs in Judaism all throughout history. They call them the Judenrate, I think it is. I call them the Juden rats. And they were the ones that were sending people to the ovens. They were the Jewish leadership. Now, I'll tell you, it's not all of them. How you doing? It's not all of them, but they betrayed the people. And that's what helped this all happen. And it also lulled people into a false sense of security. When we look at Anne Frank and her family, and again, boy, they're trying to trash those people. It helped me as a child. Anne Frank really did help me with my parents weren't really teaching me too much sexuality, But Anne Frank and what she had going on helped me understand what was going on. And again, I didn't understand it completely until I got older, and I woke up and God said, you're blessed to be fruitful and multiply. You're a Jew. You're supposed to be married and have children all day. They're blocking this. And actually, I'm a royal Jew. So that's what's really happening. They're killing the royalty and replacing them with fake royalty, and that's known as devils. No, it's very important because you have to realize that Satan is when Satan's doing that to your mind through politics, it's just like when you were condemning Islamic people, you were condemning Christian people at the same time because it's and then Jewish people because it's in the Torah in the Old Testament. So again, there's an issue with churches when they move in such a way. Again, if I was there, we'd know how to fix people because they know. Clinical psychology says if you do this, this happens. If you do that, that happens. They do that, and the person, well, why are they like that? Well, you did that. Clinical psychology says you do that. I know CIA says do that and we pay you. We know the criminal bosses say do that and we pay you. But when you do that, clinical psychology, even if we go through history to Ezekiel 34, we know what's going to happen. And when does it get real dangerous? In the churches and in the synagogues and in the Sikh-Gurdwaras, when you became a partner. But thank God you're a partner, because it makes you safer, right? That's when Sikhs started getting hated, when they became a partner. But the name partner never resonates right. Because isn't it partners in crime? Why would you call it partners? I mean, as long as I've lived, I think when the term partners comes up, it's partner in crime, isn't it? So we had a revival in Kansas. We had a revival in Junction City. And my wife and I were there with, I guess Elizabeth was a baby. Was it before that or after that? I can't remember. I think it was before that. We only had one child at that point. I'm not sure. We definitely had Diana. That's for sure. And maybe Elizabeth was there. I don't know. No, actually, I think she came after that. Maybe before Desert Storm. So there was this guy, and I spoke about him before. So the guy that walked off the battlefield or not battlefield, but off the training exercise with his he actually left his AR-15 and walked away. It was again Bergdahl, but it was a peacetime thing. So what happened was they had serious financial issues. The marriage was strained. And I can't remember when he went to church. It was either a little bit before or after. It was around that time period. But we had revival. And we got him to revival because he'd already had a lot of stuff going on. I remember his name, but I'm not going to say it. But somebody may have said it. Maybe he's here in spirit. I don't know. And we got them to church, and he was just happy as he can be. Happy as can be during revival. He was so happy, I was almost like, oh my God. But again, Satan even attacked him harder. But you know what? For me, I mean, I want everybody to have a beautiful, wonderful Christian life or whatever life they want to have, Sikh life or Islamic life, as long as it's on the right side of God and the right side of the people. Because people are God's creation. You have to understand that. You can't love God if you don't love creation. I don't know if you've ever learned that. But again, you're the ones blocking the truth. Therefore, you cannot use not knowing the truth as an excuse. Well, I mean, God's pretty darn offended. It's like I say about Jesus. I think all you people walking around dissing Mary, right? I guess the Pope said something with Mary up today. But you're all dissing Mary, like Jesus would be into it, right? Yeah, my mother, she's such a man. How dare she? Jesus thinks his mom's pretty special, man. And when everybody liked her, he thought it was cool. So again, that's called a reversal. And it is a spell and incantation, and it is a spycraft activity. But again, when they cause people to look at you and do that, it's supposed to have a psychological effect, and it's not to get me to do, quote unquote, the right thing. Because they know to do the right thing. What is the right thing? I'm doing the right thing for what's going on in my life. Again, to be depressed when depressing things are happening is not to be mentally ill. It's to be natural. Now, of course, if it causes sickness, then there's an issue. But again, the best way to handle it is this type of thing. Get out and speak about it. Speak about what's going on. Watch them squirm and run and lie additionally. Thing keeps highway keeps resonating because you know why? It's humid and the sound waves are riding the humidity, so you hear it louder. So let me see how long I've been speaking. Not long enough. I gotta walk. I dropped some weight. So he was in revival. So the point is, the partner program, if it's going to be in a church, it's got to be a revival program. There is no real danger, like they're saying. When that man went to that church, and what's his name, Jack, and with that shot the guy that came in the church. And again, you got to shoot somebody that has a weapon, but are you responsible for that weapon appearing? And there's differing levels of responsibility. Again, if you're going to take over the church and put me out so I can't stay in a church because everybody's a paid asshole, a paid psychological operator, a paid witch, a paid devil. Again, it was a eye opener. And then when I looked back, I was like, oh my God, look. It was Rosemary's Baby. They're witches' covens. And so I woke up. So again, God got you. And God got you with your own spell to keep me asleep. So once God woke me up, I could look back and go, oh my God, let me witness all this. Here's the testimony of the church of Pennsylvania, the church of Maryland. So on and so forth. So he went to he went to revival, and he was awful. He was happy. So again, that's how you run the program. Because aren't we stopping crime? Of course not. You're not stopping crime anymore. You're creating crime, and it's a good business, and it's very lucrative, causing people to fall. But of course, they knew that in Old Testament and New Testament times. And they called those people evil. And in fact, the Bible says that's who's going to burn in hell. Now, each person individually, somebody's walking with me. Who is it? It's a pretty big spirit. Is it Abraham? Somebody's walking behind me. They've been an angel. So again, we know that causing people to fall is the worst thing you can do. Now, the church will tell you, look over there physically. We're helping people up, and they're causing people to fall. See? Now, donate money. I'll spend $100,000 on helping people, and the rest goes to upkeep of lifestyle. And now we're the ones that save everyone because I destroyed your ability to physically save people. What's happening? My healing has been seen. I've healed every part of this planet at some point or another, most likely. And God says, probably so. He said probably and then said so. So again, that's how, when you listen for seeing, there is a statement analysis in seeing. Now, you again, take it with a grain of salt. Paul let us in a long time ago that the gifts would fail, but it doesn't mean that they're useless. I brought it up a long time ago when I first woke up. What was that statement? Do what I tell. I forget. Do as I say, not as I do, or something like that, or do as. Again, that's Christianity. That's in all the scriptures. Do as I say, not as I do. If you believe the scriptures, again, you all, are like the Ginsu, slicing and dicing it in the wrong direction. I'm saying you're adding and taking away from outside. Again, I will add and take away from inside the Bible, but I don't use outside. But I will use outside things to show you what the Bible says. Because why? Because I'm not adding. I'm just trying to help you understand and show you that other people receive that same thought. There's no doubt that God is the God of all creation. There's no doubt that the Middle Ages rabbis, and even a little bit later, knew that the ultimate program was going to be for everybody to know God. And it didn't have to be Judaism. Now, they couldn't understand how there was monotheistic religions in India. They couldn't see that far. Now, not all of them are monotheistic, but again, it's the idea that if God can get somebody to understand that there's spiritual things going on, then God might be able to reach down into the person's mind and talk to them. Again, you have to know something on this planet to know something. That's one of the keys. Satan's trying to attack right now. There's something over at this corner by the Stay America sign on the highway side, but not the entrance. Pretty evil over here. Sure what it is. So again, if you run the program like a revival, then it would work. So we look at Jack, and he did an honorable thing. Now, could Jack be ignorant and not responsible for what happened? Correct. Like I told you, there are a lot of neophytes in the church, and they don't have a clue, and a lot of them are running churches. So the reality is, if we look at somebody, and again, especially a person that's homeless or a person that's having psychological issues, if we look at them and say that's what they are, then we're solidifying that's what they are. If we say somebody's cursing that person, again, the way the scriptures define these type of things, somebody's causing that person to fall, all those type of terminologies that we were supposed to use, then we can elevate that person back up. So when he comes into that church in Texas and Jack, the FBI agent, greets him, what did he do? Was it a setup? Are there other agents that wanted Jack to have to do that? So then they go, look, the FBI is saving the churches. I mean, there are people like that will empower the FBI in the wrong way. Again, it can be rather, what's the word I'm looking for? Rather intoxicating to have CIA backing you and becoming something so special. Again, the other agents are, cussing under their breath, but they know if they curse at you, they're going to be put out of the agency. If they tell you you're just a cheap devil, something will happen. They'll be in Pennsylvania on top of a courthouse having sex with somebody. And somebody will film them. So again, it is what it is. So again, Jack may be ignorant. He doesn't know how to do those things. What happened to me, and then I got with the Sikhs, because remember the shooting happened, and I was on their security patrol, just an average security patrol, walking around like at 4 a.m. in the middle of winter or something, and or 3 a.m. So I took that shift, and because I didn't have to work, so they were doing security patrols, and I was on a couple security patrols, And when they started the mindset, I think I did have a few words that said, just be careful because you're just going to send the wrong vibration if you're not careful. Like security being security. Like, okay, at Joel Osteen's church, they had to act, but the whole thing was such overkill. And I guarantee it was like off-duty cops in a church jumping somebody because they said something. Because, all of a sudden they're going to be that person's going to be the bad, evil person. And again, projection. Desiring that. So if we go into a church that's run by law enforcement that's squirrely in nature, where they want to interact, they want to save the church because they want somebody to fall, so they're there to do that, then that's going to happen. So it's kind of a whole reversal of the psychology. Now, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't protect yourself in some way. But again, I'm not. But Jesus said that. Said you shouldn't protect yourself in some way, that you should just kind of reach out to people and have faith. When you lost your faith, that's when the danger crept up. Now, I think some of it may be construct, where they cause it because they can use that to get further into your churches and get rid of whoever they want. The church is out here. It's not in the church. What's in the church is the Sanhedrin, and the Sadducees and Pharisees. And it's no little thing when you consider that they're moving CIA with it, CIA-type operations. And again, well, we're CIA and we keep the world safe. Oh, yeah, you keep it real safe, just like those cops. It's not bail reform, and it's not Putin. It's all of you. You always have an excuse as to what it is. In the old days, those people would get fired because they always have an excuse how they can't do their job because of something, or at least taking out of leadership positions. So I told you about the journey through that. At first, I was like, well, I think if you healed the place and you actually got away from that partner stuff, you'd have a lot less issue when somebody walked into your church because you'd be more welcoming. They would feel welcome. They wouldn't be cursed down by stares and gossip and everything else. I don't know if Jack was running backgrounds on everybody that came into the church, but if you came into additional knowledge such as that, you could have. And he could have been one of those people they were following around and causing to be that. And they could have said, hey, Jack, got this guy coming to your church. You need to watch him, da-da-da-da. So instead of treating him like an equal, you already are dropping him down further. So I've said that before that happened. I said, one of the worst things you can do when the devils are attacking you in your community is walk into a church. I never believed that before, but if I look back, I will see that was probably the worst thing I could ever do. You're part of it. So again, it can go from a physical construct to a metaphysical construct. So I was like, oh, the better thing would, it shows that you probably, you got to protect yourself. But there's a time before that where we could have healed that and made sure it didn't happen. Because I have faith. I know that we can do that. I've done it before. So then I get to the point where the pastor walks behind the stage and they jump the guy. Yeah, we got the guy without killing him and anybody getting hurt. We did great. Yeah. And then God said, wait a minute. There's a higher order to that. That's not the best. Look at all the other churches who had nobody come into their church and try to take them out. They have faith. I protected them because I could. They had faith in me, not in the partner program. Now, it is in every church, obviously. No, they have faith in the partner program. That's where they put all their money, all their time, and that's where they receive money and receive great life. Now they've made it. They're part of the partners. It wasn't the day they were baptized. It's the day they entered the partners that they really love. So again, I've been cursed from Walmarts and Ross way before I knew it was happening. Home Depots and Lowe's, all run by devils, claiming to be, praise the Lord, heal the name of Jesus. No, they don't even know that word. They think it's phony. That was like the craziest thing. I mean, I thought it was phony. When I went to the fundamental and the Baptist churches, all that, I thought heal was phony, that was like ripping off Jesus. But then when I woke up, God said, here, look, do this, do that. Like I said, one day I told somebody I'm not a mind reader. The week after, I was a mind reader. I laughed at G.D. Jakes and called him a devil because he was healing people. A week later, I was healing people. Maybe they put so many reversal spells on me, it just didn't work for them. But again, that would be God causing that. Again, I spoke to you before about that. How God moves through earth, through the line, between the lines, through the cracks in the existence, and isn't really manipulating anything, but you're moving based upon God's movement without knowing it. When God, has to juke you for juking everyone else. And again, that's part of, I will send them a strong delusion so they'll believe a lie. The person, I think, has one electric. I think it's an electric Mustang. It looks like almost like an SUV almost. I think it's a Mustang. Nice vehicle. Now, I just want to, live with God and hope we find a wife. I mean, at a certain point, it was obvious the church wasn't worth it. And that's when they got upset. Darn it. Because they were paying people. People in the church will take money from law enforcement any day to do anything. And that is like the so opposite of Jesus. And again, I'm not saying not to protect yourself, but that's the reason you have to protect yourselves. You're sexualizing people, not allowing relationship. Go to clinical psychology and look at the damage. Like, well, he's doing penance. All right. Yeah, I don't know how that got in there. I just saw that. It says, how I saw it earlier, the 30. I don't know how to get rid of that. I should be able to click on it and get rid of it. I can't. No idea where it is. Let me see. No. Oh, that's the lower third. There we go. Well, some would say that's a mistake, but we're here, or God's here. I'm not going to say I'm here. I'm here to witness the earth, but God's here to judge the earth. So if I put that on there and you're able to hack me any better or whatever it is, then that's on you and that's on the earth. And again, I wouldn't say this is the earth, but that's a general name that people use. I'm not ready, no matter what my mouth says, my heart says that this may not be the earth. But the people that wrote that thought this was the earth, and that's okay. The earth may be actually 100%, the earth that Adam and Eve were on within the garden is a completely different place. It's not here. Again, I don't always connect the dots. And again, that's the way the scriptures are written. The Old Testament people didn't connect the dots. Jesus connected the dots at a certain point, and then I come along and Paul came along, and other people come along, and we connect the dots. It's a way to get the scripture out, the communication out. Because again, God is speaking right now to every single person on the planet. How much is getting through? Very little, probably about 1%, if that. Not even 1%, I would say probably 0.5% or even less. So again, there's a filter here. Satan filters what comes into this planet. So if Satan thinks Satan can use it, again, they try to use what I say against me. Same thing Satan does. Tries to use what you all say in honest conversation against the person. So I wake up and God shows me how I'm on this. It's kind of like the fall of Adam, but not. I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I don't know if Adam was anyway. Pretty much, we believe that Adam was possessed and by a superior, again, an anti-superior being, and so was the snake. So again, when we go through who gets blamed in all the scriptures, it turns out that the devils were possessing those people, just like today, people are possessed by devils. Excellent. That healer guy back there. See, the thanks came in before I healed him. I had thought about him, think, okay, what's up with this guy? And they said thanks. I'm like, oh, he needs to be healed. Every time they say thanks, think about the person around you. If your spirit thanks, and heal the person. People, places, or thing around you. So when I woke up, God shows me that I had this life on Venus. And I'm going through the vision. Kind of piecemeal, but it exists. A little bit of humor in it. Because God said I was there with you. But I was this person, your brother. So that's where God was teaching me that God is in your mind as so many different things. So this is not a spiritual physical place, or no, it is a spiritual physical place. It's not a physical place. It's a spiritual place that has physical properties, but it's not a physical place. The physical. So it's different. I died there, but when I guess it might be like the death here too. I don't know. But no, here you have to go through a physical death. There I just kind of ended up here. So again, it's similar to the fall. I remember the planet, we were all like, we've got to defend ourselves, and I was kind of a leader of some sorts. And I had my brother and my wife. And we had to defend the planet from Satan. Satan was going to attack. And I got into that thing where it was almost identical but different, and that's one of the things you have to understand. There's patterns in religion and spirituality, and you can link those. It's how God communicates sometimes, just in patterns. And again, they anti-communicate with patterns. So they do everything Satan does in these spycraft operations. So all of a sudden, and I'm wrestling with Satan just like Jacob was wrestling with the angel. And I'm tumbling and we're falling. All of a sudden, little Larry is born. So again, there's other informations that came in that would link it. Again, I didn't even make that connection till now, actually. Or maybe I did. I think I did maybe one more at a time, but it was like way after seeing it. So Adam and Eve fell into this planet, fell into a body. They were probably a spiritual being in the garden on Earth, but not this Earth. So then it begins to make sense. And then I would look at, they're blocking God, or I even have more information. But there's a period of time where they just weren't powered up enough to block. So I look at that photo. I think it's the phases of the moon, not the phases of the moon. Or is it Earth? I think it's the moon. But it just shows it like falling. If you look at the photograph, it's like on the wall, and so it used to be on the wall in some places, and it shows it falling in progression. And God said that's what happens. That's what's happening. So you may think you're standing on the same earth you were born on, but metaphysically it changed. Now, I don't believe that this physical place is where Adam and Eve and the garden are. It's a spiritual physical place based upon what's happening. And people go, well, how does that happen? How can somebody, well, number one, it's God and anything can happen. But yes, this is, you're seeing what you're doing, what people that may be atheistic or agnostic are saying about the Bible is, how could that happen? But their mind is seeing the truth. Because what they're doing is they're taking the rib thing and making a woman, and they're looking at Earth and how God operates here on Earth and says, well, it's impossible here, where we are right now. Again, the Earth Jesus stood on metaphysically was different also. It wasn't physically different. It wasn't a spiritual, physical place. It was a physical, spiritual place where he was. So again, if you can't tell them the truth, they can't see the truth in what you're saying. You see. So what I do is most arguments that cause a disruption, I kind of just say, we're not going to argue that. We're just going to get to the meat of salvation and all those type of things. So one thing God did, and again, it was probably foreshadowing for all this. God says, look, if Mary had sex organs of a man and a woman and gave birth to Jesus, basically impregnated herself, very possible, especially if she started dating and, was moving through adolescence and all of that. I don't know what age they married, but whatever, again, maturity can happen anywhere from, like 12 to 24, especially in those days. So God said, is it any less miraculous if I caused that, if the Holy Spirit caused that? I said, no. But what do you see there? Where are we today? Do I agree that trans children should have these procedures? No. But you're all trying to take it to the next level. If you can heal them and cure whatever it is without them transitioning, then do it. That's the course that would make sense. Of course, it doesn't pay you money, it doesn't give you votes and all of that. They insulted me the whole time I was trying to tell Trump what he should do. And of course, Trump would be in office if he would have continued on in listening to me instead of just taking my programs that would succeed him enough to be a devil. Along with the rest of the Republican Party. So when we look at all of that, and we understand where we are, God may have done that knowing today that the world would shift enough. Again, remember, Israel's nice, Israel's bad, Israel's good, Israel's evil, Israel will be destroyed. It's the theme of the Torah. Same thing, Sodom and Gomorrah, destroyed once. Gay people are evil. All of a sudden it props up again. Next you know, Israel's evil. It's reality. It's what's actually happening at the moment. Am I telling people to be gay? No. Are the churches and the religions and the partners in that program trying to make people gay? Yes. And then tell them they shouldn't be it. And they're doing that through several methods: physical, psychological, and metaphysical. And they are criminal conspiracies with overt acts and criminal intention. So if we look, if Mary actually was a man and a woman, believe me, Jesus is into this. And God won't tell us the answer. That's the bottom line. At least not now. God is just putting it out there. No, I've been doing a lot of research, and then they're trying to kill me in the middle of it because they know you probably know I'm going to figure something else out. I'm trying to figure the metaphysical side of it, as far as were they meant to be women? Again, that one woman is, trans woman is very articulate. I'm not into the operation thing, and it's not, it isn't anything concrete. I just believe that as far as a Jewish person, that would be a little bit too much as far as where they I think what causes them to go that far is society. It's not them. So she came on and she said, look, I know I'm not a man. I know I'm not a woman. I mean, this is really weird that you're saying this stuff. I just think she could have, if society was normal, she could have been a feminine person and not gone that far with the surgery. I believe the surgery is caused by those that say they shouldn't do it. So the question is, she said, well, she honestly believes something went wrong while she was being birthed. Now, it could be hormonal. She might be right. She may actually, if she could have gotten to the right kind of doctor, she may have been like Arnold Schwarzenegger, all pumped up on testosterone and growth hormones. That's another thing I've been meaning to bring up. They always suppress that. These people there are no natural people that are built like that. Quit letting them lie to you. I'm not against growth hormone, testosterone, Boldadone, and Test-Cipro, Decadurabolin. I'm not against the legitimate use of that. But quit telling people you're natural. I mean, come on. It's like that one guy in... I didn't break it to his employee. He was a manager somewhere in Santa Fe, the bodybuilder. And I got in a conversation with a woman, and she goes, but, look at him. I just like, okay. You know how much it costs him to get there? You know how much trouble he'd be in if they actually enforced the law? They enforced it in the FBI once, and I'm like, it was a setup. They said how many agents are on that stuff. They went, ah! I got to keep it down. Sorry, Ted. I'm like, I'm talking again. Well, leave people alone. Quit setting them up. See, they got rid of a woman and a manager married her on, like they call the quote-unquote Jews. But yet everybody in baseball still doing it, probably. They went through the witch trials. You took steroids. Well, who didn't? It's just like when they bring up the 1970s, the 1980s, early 80s. You're like, okay, people had a certain mindset back then. That's why I was able to be molested and abused and nothing happened, because it was only in the most and it was an egregious case. Again, my upbringing was egregious. And but the thing being that they didn't really prosecute people for it. I mean, every once in a while, okay, here's an example. Uncle Eddie, he was just huge. You pay people money. Oh, they try to curse me to that kind of stuff, too. I've healed a lot of that. Because when they curse me to it, I see it more than I would see it. Actually, no, that's false. Because if they wouldn't curse me, I could see it without being cursed. What up? How you doing? I healed those people. There's a child involved, so heal the child now. Hopefully there's nothing weird going on there. Maybe just take the kid out for ice cream or something. So again, like Uncle Eddie in Philadelphia was paying kids for really weird stuff. But Uncle Eddie was cursed too. I mean, now we know because I've been, awakened. Not saying that it's not illegal to do what he does, but just imagine there's people that actually wanted that to happen. There's people running around that never got in trouble for creating Uncle Eddie. That's kind of what happened to me. But that isn't the only time. That was like later in my life a little bit. Again, I wasn't like 7 or 8 or anything like that. No, you didn't pay me. I was so lucky. At least get money out of it, right? If I was a Wigan, it would have been way different. Again, I've been in like Harvard. I've probably been in Harvard, Yale, Oxford, all within like 5 years. I almost got there. I've gotten pretty quick at stuff. And they notice that kind of stuff, so they kill you, you know? I mean, because they're watching us. They're devils, man. They call themselves the rulers, but they're devils. So there's people that are like in the satanic church. They're not like real devils. Like even ask them sometimes, they're like, well, we believe in humanism. Wait, that's not Satan. It's like, who told you to call yourselves the satanic church? The devils? Most likely. I mean, it could be considered antichrist if they had power. Or anti-power, should I say. Spirits are speaking to me. Whew, how much time here? Oh, it's an hour. It's 101. So the Army would be very weird for me right now. I mean, compared to where we were combat arms, there were no women. I mean, there were. Every once in a while, you'd find one. Like, hi. You go overseas, and there'd be like 5 women for 7,000 men. I mean, just to talk to one, you know. The most popular people in the world. Again, I never tried to hit on women, try to have sex. I believe in people becoming friends, and then eventually something might happen. No, it's not successful because you're a criminal, all of you. You knew it would work. You knew all you needed was like one moment together, and then boom. Because I deceive them like Ted Bundy. That's their next thought. Idiots, criminals. You know, anybody that demolishes the reality of the programs they say that they're effectuating, I mean, that's the worst of the worst. That's so demonic, so evil, so criminal. I mean, what kind of respect is it for those programs to point at somebody that's innocent and try to make them fit into the criminal side of the program? And I know I'm not going to drop it. That captain, and I can't find the news article. They probably destroyed it because I brought it up. There's a captain that was on the task force, the porn squad task force, and he ended up with like more porn than anybody in the history of the United States, child porn. They spelled him, and I guarantee they tried to turn him on, wouldn't let him get anywhere. Women have power. It's witchcraft when they do that, but they have that power. Now, women could use it in marriage, and then it wouldn't be. That's the weird part about women. They don't use it in marriage and then complain about their husband. But they use it on their neighbor, right? So again, they sexualize the person. I guarantee the CIA even probably knew he existed because they probably created that. And then they used it to fear everybody. Not talking about myself. No, if I were talking about myself, I would say I'm talking about myself. I mean, here he's trying to do his job, and he ends up like that because a bunch of agents work for Satan. bunch of police officers work for Satan. Meanwhile, they're all probably running around actually having sex because the woman needs a sex outlet generally. I mean, she could be so narcissistic, like that woman that I explained where it was an FBI case, I think, where she had an orgasm while they were killing somebody. Well, psychologically, while they're doing a psychological operation, these women are orgasming. I've seen them. An inside orgasm. So again, they did it. Michigan exploited children work with spycraft operators, and they work contracts to take people out. No, it's not politics. They try to use that cover. Even if it is politics, it's not politics. If that's politics, and politics is criminal activity, spycraft, demonic, evil, heinous. Just put a whammy on the person that posed that question in the mind, or made that statement. He's talking about himself. She said it will look like he's talking about himself. He will say something in statement and analysis that will make it look like he's talking about himself. Again, discredited. Entire statement analysis program. If you're going to whammy around it, then it's going to be discredited. Okay, God will judge it. I already witnessed it, but I know how that works. Maybe there's God's gavel. We got witches destroy the entire law enforcement program. Devils, demons, antichrists, witches, and all. And sorcerers. Sorcerers tried to hide there. Whoa! Don't you dare try to hide, all of you. Any of you. You. Uncursed. Whoa. All right, mass weapons destruction. Okay, MWD on a Texas license plate. Mass weapons destruction. Mass weapons. Or weapons of mass destruction. I know it's what it's supposed to say, but it has it. MWD, I don't know if that's being used to screw somebody's head or not, but the number is 1304, so I don't know if that means anything. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.